Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our startup farm on the Ravenport map in Farming Simulator 19. Gazbeard, hope you're going to enjoy this series. If you do, give the videos a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Okay, in today's episode we are continuing from where we left off in the last one, with that field harvested, that field ready to cultivate, that one ready to sow, and also that one over there ready to sow. But what we're going to do is we're going to jump into one of our tractors here and we're going to pick up that weight. We're going to leave the cultivator there and we're going to pop into town to the agricultural dealership, and we're going to get some additional equipment that we need. Now I'm just wondering, do we actually need to drag that weight around with us? No, I don't think we do. So let me just go and pop that back up next to the cultivator. So let's just pop into the shop. We've got a few things to buy. Now before we go into the shop, we want to make sure that they've got the soil sampling unit for us. So again, I need to jump out and go into the mods and install it, because it's actually a DLC for the game, which is free. Let's get that. I also added some balers, because the in-game balers are incredibly expensive. I mean, prohibitively expensive. So I added a few mod balers that give me some cheap options, and I added a few other pieces like the fertilizer spreader that I mentioned. But also I added a 6-meter seeder and a 6-meter subsoiler for ploughing fields, which gives us a slightly wider cut when we're doing them at a cheaper price than the smaller ones in game. So first things first, we want to upgrade the tractor. Now what the tractor has already got, it's already got its beacons on the top, it's got a front 3-point, it's got a rear 3-point, so it can carry attachments front and rear. It looks like it's already got wide tyres on it. So the only thing that we're going to be wanting to do really is upgrade the engine. It's currently in the 7210 model, which, like I say, I can't remember if that's a 150 or a 180 horsepower version. Let's find out. So we press P, go to the garage. Now, which one of these two are we actually in? That's a good question. That one's got 0 hours on it. That's got 0.1. So this must be the one that we're in. You see down here, tells you how many hours the vehicle's been in use. We haven't used this one at all. This one we've used to drive down to the shop, so it has to be this one. It's got the most hours on it. Right, so we're going to modify that, and in fact we can't do it from here. We have to drive around the corner, and then we'll come back and buy the bits that we want to buy. So round the corner of the shop, and every shop on every map has got this as well. You see the little sign with the tractor and the dollar bill. You drive into the hazard marked area, jump out of your tractor, come to here, and you press R to activate it, and then you click Customize, And here you can change the specification of your tractor. So in fact, the wheels are standard. I thought they were wides, but they're not. I'm going to change the wheels to wides with weights. See, there's lots of options. Wide tires and weights. There we are. See the weights in the middle of the wheel rim. And just to, if I go that way, you can see those are the tires that were on it that were standard. If we look at it from the back, you can see why I thought they were wides, but they're not. Then go back that way, you can see tires are in fact wider, even though they generally don't look to have much difference, but they are wider. Right, so that's the wides and weights. I'm going to change the engine. This engine's 170, so it's not 150, it's not 180, it's 170, and we're going to bump it up to the top engine, which is the 7250, which is the 261 horsepower. That's going to cost a lot of pennies, 45,500 to take it up to that top engine at 261. But that's going to give us a tractor that will do pretty much anything that we want to do with it. I seriously doubt we will have a piece of equipment that this tractor cannot handle once it's got that engine on it. So there we go. That's total 48,500 to upgrade the tractor. Now you can see why I sold those buildings. So we customize that. And first thing you notice when you come back is that the decal on the hood has changed. It's gone from the 7210 to the 7250. And we've got our wheels there with the weights in them. And those wheels definitely look bigger out here than they did in the PDA. The engine doesn't sound that much different. Maybe a slightly lower tone to it. Not quite so tinny. Top speed's the same, 26 miles per hour. Bring it round here and park it up. Okay, so just sit in here while we purchase the other bits that we want. So it's all attachments that we're going to be buying, so we don't need to be in the vehicles section, we need to be in the tools and trailers section. So the first thing that we want is plows, and if we come in here and we scroll across to the right, you can now see mod underneath the price. Shows that that's the mod that we added. That's a 6-meter subsoiler for 17,000. See plows that we would have been getting at 13 and 14,000. That's a 2-meter plow. That's a 2.5-meter plow. So we've got more than double the width for just a few thousand extra by getting this one. So we're going to buy it, we have to customize it. Just accept the default colors, buy it there. That'll be waiting for us at the shop. So that's our plow. And then we need to do this in sequence of use. So if we jump across to miscellaneous, which is all the way over at the right hand side, and we go into there, we'll click on it. That's what we're after, the Asaria Scout, which is our soil sampling unit. Again, go into details and then we buy it there. Okay, that's that. Then back. And then we want our loading wagon. Go into loading wagons here. You can see the cheapest default loading wagon is 46,000. This one is 25,000. Yeah, a lot cheaper. We've got to keep an eye on our cash here. Yeah, we're starting to burn through the cash a little bit. We need a baler first, though, before we need this, because we might not actually need the loading wagon. We need to check and see what happens once we've got our baler and we've baled up that straw we're going to need to get a mower to cut grass. The baler can be used with the grass as well. Let's just go back, go into mowers, baling technology. No, wrong. Yes, baling technology. Cheapest baler in the game, in the vanilla game, is 49,000. Those ones that I added via the mods, we've got 12,000 here or 5,000 here. Let's just have a look at these ones. These ones only need 120 horsepower. Are they for square or round bales? That's for square bales. Okay. Now, I said in the last episode I like case equipment, so we can change this to the case version. Yeah. It's the same baler, which does 4,000 litre bales, needs 120 horsepower, and operates at 12 mile per hour. That's 5,900. Go back onto the front screen here. It says 5,000. Go back in, and all of the variants are either 5,900 or 6,200. So, however, it's supposed to be a case baler, which means that rim colour has to change. Can't, in fact. Case does not use white. It uses silver or light grey for the rims. Never mind, we'll do it like that. Do it that way. Now, it's changed the price to 6,200 just for looking at the rim colour options without actually doing it. So, we'll go back, come back in, edit the case, 5,900, buy it at that. So that's our baler. We've now got our plough stroke subsoiler. We've got our Isaria Scout for soil sampling, and we've got our baler. We need a trailer for moving the bales, and I'm going to have to jump out and add another mod, because unless we put a front loader on this tractor, and this is not the tractor that I want to use for a front loader, then we need to get an auto loading trailer. Slight dilemma. Leave it for now. We'll get the front loader on the other tractor. It's an excuse to come back down to the shop. And the last thing that we need on this trip to purchase on this trip for picking up is we need our fertilizer spreader, which will be under fertilizer technology. And the mod that you saw me add is this one, which is a variant of this. See that one? This one here does 3,200 litres. This one here will go to 3,200 litres. They're both 24 metre spread. They both operate at 12 mile per hour. And this one only does fertilizer. This one does fertilizer and lime. I think the lime is the 15 metre spread that it's detailing here. This is the fertilizer spread. So let's just customize that, and the price is going to jump because we're going to add all the bells and whistles. The first thing is get it up to the top capacity, which is 3,200. We want the anti-mud guards. That stops the mud getting onto the spreader units here. Attach it. We want a trailer hitch on it so that we can tow a trailer behind it if we need to, because that way we can take a refill trailer with us to wherever we're working. We want transport wheels on it for wheeling it around in the yard by hand. We want a cover on it so that the fertilizer or lime does not get wet when it's raining. And we want the working width at its maximum, which is 24 meters. That pushes the price up to 21,700. So it's about an extra 5,000 to have all the bells and whistles on it. However, this spread out will do us for a good long time. So let's buy this. We may have to come back and get a second one because we're going to want one for doing lime and one for doing fertilizer. Need to get some money in first because we're starting to burn through the money and we've still got a couple of sheds to put in yet. Okay, so that's enough to get us going right now. Back. Oh, the other thing that we need to get is we need to get some fertilizer. Now 3,200 in that spreader. So let's have a look in the pallets. Fertilizer tank, that's 2,000 litres. That costs us 3,200. Wow. So to fill that fertilizer spreader is going to cost us over 6,000, nearly 6,500. We'd be better getting a fertilizer buy point installed at the farm for that money. That would save us running it backwards and forwards to the shop. And we can do that. Again, it's a mod, and I would need to add the mod in, which I would do off camera. So let's just check. I don't think there's one currently. Well, I know it's installed on the computer. I don't think we get fertilizer in these, do we? Oh, we do. That's that's only 1,000 litres. The lime's 2,000. The lime there is a lot cheaper. It's 450. That. We're going to need to lime the fields before we fertilise them. So, again, overall, it's going to be cheaper to put a buy point at the farm. Let's go back. Right. So here we are. Lots and lots of bits and pieces. Now, subsoiler is actually the last thing that we need. So what I'm going to do is just going to quickly spin round. We'll leave the subsoiler there and come back for it. Bring the other tractor down because we're going to have to put a front loader attachment on it. And we'll put the soil sampler on the front. Then we'll put that on there. Remember, it's empty at the moment. We would need a large weight on the front if it was full. And then we can back up to this mower. Hopefully the height of the tow hitch is correct. Yes, it is. Right, and then we can take these home. Check there's no traffic. There's not. Whoa, what's going on? Lost our steering capability there. Is that a glitch on the road? Or is it because it might be because we've got that baler on the back of the spreader? Ah, in that case, we're going to have to leave the baler here, take it with the other tractor. All right. Gonna have to come back down anyway, so not a problem. remember, we're only seeing a very small corner of the map at the moment. This map is a lot bigger than people realise. I've heard a lot of people complain that this is a very small map and they don't like playing on this map. I actually quite like it. Not only is it always the first map that anybody plays when they first get the game, because it comes with the game, but it's also a very interesting and varied map. And the contracts on it are very, very good. Now, the only problem, of course, is that these tractors that we get as default in the new farmer tutorial mode are very slow tractors. 26 mile per hour is not quick by the standards of modern tractors. A lot of the tractors in the game now that do sort of between 32 and 40 mile an hour as a top speed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the fertilizer spreader in there for now. Right tool. You see at the top left there's a little tractor above the menu, and you can see that the front and rear tools highlight when I press G. Highlighting the rear tool, we press V to lower the tool that we've got on the rear 3-point hitch, then Q to detach it, then we can drive forward and leave it behind. I'm going to leave the soil sampler on it because we have to do some soil sampling today. And what I'll do is I'll just pull around that. We should, in theory, be able to do that field with one pass. It's not that wide. But we'll just, yeah, I think we just do this before we go back down to the shop. So if we come into there, we need to press X to unfold the soil sample. Oh, we haven't got our base station in place. So we can take the samples, but they're going to be meaningless. So we need to put our base station in place, and our base station comes with a shed. And I'm just thinking where we can put the shed, because for immersion point of view we want it to be on a high point, but I don't think we're going to get one. Alright, let's go into buildings. I believe it's under miscellaneous. Yeah, there it is. Get this shed. I mean, it's a lot of extra money, but this gives us a shed that we can put equipment into or put supplies into, whichever. Normally use this shed for keeping my mowing equipment in it, so my mowers, my tedders, my windrowers and my balers I normally keep in this shed. So let's just hit details down here, and it immediately takes us back out onto the map with a ghost for the shed, asking us where we want to place it. And if I swing around like this, I'm thinking I wanted to put it down here, but I also want to put a large vehicle shed down here as well. If we put it over here, the ground is sloping too much. It's going to deform and cause problems either with the house or the shed. So what I think I may well do is put it on this little sticky out headland bit here, but if I rotate it this way on, then I can get it, whoops, wrong way, then I can get it to parallel an extension to that field. So let's just rotate it so that it matches these field lines or these ground lines. This is where you get really fiddly. That looks near enough. Just check that. If we come over to the edge of the field, that should be dead level with the edge of the field. It is. Put it over here like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sink it into the ground a bit. Never remember if it's Q or E to go. It is Q to go down. Just lift it a little. I think that's going to be about right. It's just can't put it there. It's too close to the edge of the slope. Bring it back a little. Take it down. Probably can. Maybe better to like that. And we put it in there. 3 escapes to get out. Let's just run across and have a look at that. We'll landscape around it at another time. You see the price was increased because it had to do some land shape changes. You'll see what I mean round here. You can see it had to raise the ground up to meet the shed in a couple of places. Got our footing level just right there. You can see there's the minimum possible lip on the front of that concrete. We do need to landscape this bit for getting in and out, especially if we're taking in things like mowers and windrowers and tedders. Let's check round the back here. Yeah, that's all looking good. Bit of deformation there, but that's okay. We can clean that. We can either leave those bushes in place actually to mask it, or we can landscape it. This side again, same thing. A little bit of deformation, but we can leave the bushes in place. It's really just this bit in front that needs re-landscaped, and because it's such a small bit, I think I'll just get it done now and get it out of the way. So to landscape, press P, click on the landscaping tool, start landscaping. Always best to zoom in a bit, I find. Always starts you too far out. And we should be able to use the square tool, which if we C to change shape. There we are, square tool. Because we're on the grid, we're square to the grid, we can use the square tool to do it. What we want to do is we want to just level this out. So smooth or flatten is left and right mouse button. An object is obscuring the terrain. So let's do that there, level that there, and that side. Too far there. Right, now we go to smooth, which is middle mouse button. Just smooth that down, smooth it in a bit. That side smoothed out. Smooth that side out a wee bit. Reduce the steepness of that slope. Make it less of a bump and more of an actual curve. And do the same back here. Really like to raise that corner a little bit. Got to be very careful with the raise command. It's very easy to mess up the whole area. Won't let me do it there. Come out a wee bit. There. Come on. Up. 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 Up a bit more. See what I mean about it looks wrong. So now we have to smooth it in. Like that. Again over there. Flip back into there. Using the middle mouse button, just the middle mouse button, nothing else. We smooth this in, we get these contours nice and natural. And I don't think we've actually gained anything there. So what I might do is just do a flatten across there. Reduce the size of the brush. A little bit crazy, didn't it? Go back to smooth here. To increase the size of the brush there, just to get it flow a bit more naturally. If you flatten out the grass when you're doing this, you see how we've got those flat green bits next to the long green grass. Okay, don't worry about it, it'll grow back. And reduce the size again, try and smooth that in and change the shape. Find quite often get a better smoothing using the round shape than you can with the square one. Again, just the middle mouse button, that's all you're using. Bring it around, smoothing out the ground so that you're not riding across a jagged surface. Back a bit. Always worth rotating. Oops. In again. There we are. Didn't really gain that much on the corner, unfortunately. It looks like the collision block for the building is causing a few problems on the corner, but we'll live with that. Now what we can do next is a very quick painting job, just to make the building a little bit more embedded, as it were. So I want to rotate around, get zoomed in on that gravel in front of it. Check that it is gravel and not tarmac. It does actually look like it could be tarmac. So change to painting mode, switch to X, and then paintbrush type, or the finish bottom right, you use the tab key to tab through it. Now let's just take the brush right down, let's just do one click like that. It is not that, okay. Looks like we don't have, that's concrete, that's not, yeah, we don't have that tarmac finish that goes around the building. So that gravel is the closest that we've got to it. So all I can do is something like that, just to push out the gravel from the building, more natural driveway from it, and we'll let the grass spring up around it again. This earth texture that we've got here, I should be able to use that to get rid of these last pieces of grass. Let's see if we can find it. That's rock face, that's sand. Don't think that's it. The smallest brush we've got. No, that's not it. Next one. Not that one. Yeah. Might be that one. Yeah, there it is. Right, let's just get rid of those little bits of grass on what would be the drive into the building. Like that. Just to reinforce that that's a pathway. Get rid of that little bit there. There we are. Zoom out. Take a wee off that corner, smooth it round a bit. There we are. That's fine. That's the building settled in place. So escape twice to come out of there. Have a look at that now. Do that on foot. Yeah, I'm still not happy with that corner, and I might fiddle around off camera and get that leveled up a bit better. It's going to take quite a bit of messing around to sort that out. Meanwhile, we could get a vehicle parked on there. It's kind of flat enough. That's not what I wanted. I wanted it raised. Anyway, let's get back to the tractor. Do this soil sampling very quickly. It's a small field. It should only need 2 or 3 samples on this field. Right, what are we doing here? Well, if you look at the mini map on the bottom left, you can see the green circle that shows the area of survey. And what I actually want to do is I want to make sure I've covered that area between the two fields, because I may merge them. So I want the ground pre-surveyed. And we just drive in, make sure that the whole field is covered by the green circle, or as much of the green field as possible. And then what we do is V to lower the sampling unit, and then B, Bravo, to take a sample. See that the colour on the mini-map changes, and we drive forward, watching the green circle. Oh, it's covering again, and then B again. So basically 2 samples to cover that existing field.